Well, welcome back to it, everybody. We're back up in the woods to run the sawmill for another day. Well, we're going to do a couple modifications. Actually, we're going to do one major modification today. If you guys notice on the last video, when I'm loading logs on, I didn't get my receivers done to keep the logs from rolling off the other side. Pretty much it was one of those deals. I was out of time to work on the trailer. We had to get after this and start moving. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the log dog setups, one of the log clamps off of this mill. I don't need all four of them that are on there. So we're going to flip it around, cut a piece off. We could tip it up and it'll act as a stop for the logs when they come over. And the other thing, a lot of complaints I notice on the Hudson sawmills, and I've had this complaint numerous times myself, is the way those log clamps work. Your cuts get out of square and everything else. Well, today we're going to cover how to get square cuts out of this mill using those log clamps, and it's not as bad as it seems. Most of the time it's a matter of not tightening the clamps too much. So in this one we're going to show you how to mill accurately on this and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you on the other side. You know something, folks? I think I'm an idiot. So I just got about halfway through that cut, and like a dumbass, I just realized that all I had to do was that right there. Talk about horrible. Why'd you guys let me do something stupid like that? That Wyatt. Like this, and then pull it as I tell you to towards you, and I'll tell you when to stop. Step on in. Yep. Yeah, you keep it right where it is, otherwise it's going to flop on us. Okay, go ahead and pull it. more. Oh, oh, hold it right there. Keep holding it right there. That is dead nuts. So the mistake a lot of people make when they use these log dogs, especially when they're going to do their second cut. Now the second cut on this thing is your most important. This is the one that's going to decide how square everything is, how nice your boards are. But what a lot of people do, you want to clamp that right around the center of the log. That way, because if you go up here, you're going to be tipping it one way. You go down below that center, you're going to tip it another way. If you keep it pretty well centered, it'll actually push the log in where you want it. Now if you try to clamp too tight on that, it's also going to twist it and tilt it. But most of the time what I find to keep it square is get that thing right in the center, and that seems to work the best. Now I use my framing square for every second cut when I'm going to square these logs up. I've not seen a bandsaw mill yet to where it's perfect when you clamp it down without checking that. So that's a big thing. We want to make sure that everything's nice and square.
plugs over here.
Yeah.
A few of them.
You don't even have to use that, just go over that. There you go, just like that.
There?
Yep. What you got?
You can go 9 inches.
What do you got to the heartwood? The very
Center.
It's not going to be the exact center. So you see where all the growth rings come together in there? You get kind of like a dot right in the, somewhere in the middle of the log.
Yeah, right here.
Yep, and that'd be the pith.
Be close. Like 7 inches.
Okay, so we got to get that other end up a little bit, right?
All the way. Right, that is.
Now check your measurement. I can tell you folks that the deer flies up here are absolutely bloodthirsty, and it's been a long day sweating and getting eaten alive, but so we have 2 days of milling under our belt. We're not moving as quick as I usually would like, but we're not doing too badly either. We're actually going to leave out of here with about half of our floor joists and a start on our studs for the walls. I'm not going to mill the timber frame portion of it until close to last because I want those timbers nice and green when I work them, and I want them still fairly wet when I go to stand them up. And the reason being is it's nice to have them all shrink and move together once they're put together and standing up in the air, and everything kind of tightens up. But so today was a good day for Wyatt. He had his, I kind of turned him loose on the log. That last log that we milled, that's actually his for his woodworking project. So the deal is every time he comes up and helps me, we're going to mill a log up for him for his own uses, and it's kind of nice. But I'm also going to let him mill it, and the trick there is he's going to get to learn how to use the mill properly under my supervision. Now, I haven't showed it yet because I don't want the comments to blow up on it, but he also got his first chainsaw yesterday. I bought him a little Husqvarna 440, nothing fancy, nothing super, but perfect for cutting up the slab wood that's coming off the mill. And we're leaving this here for the club owners, so for their campfires and whatnot. You know, it's, you get a deal like this, they're nice enough to let you do it. You try to improve things when you come. You try to make yourself useful any way you can. We're also going to mill some timber or some lumber up for them for some of their projects around this club. But anyway, we also dropped some more trees today, but that footage will not be in this video. Probably next time out, next weekend, we're going to start dropping more trees. We're kind of working into the woods fairly straight line, because what we'll end up with is a decent ATV trail for these folks to use also, to get maybe to another hunting spot. But other than that, you know, we're doing really well. Everything's working out the way I want it to. When we flopped that log dog around and I very ignorantly cut that piece off, I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, when we got that piece off, we flipped that around. That made a big difference when we loaded the logs, so they're not crashing into the jib crane or almost rolling off the other side. Which I knew that would be an issue the way I had my ramps, but I kind of thought, well, you know, I'll just make something at home that we can bolt on. So we also tried out a helper handle on the mill today, just made out of some unistrut I had in the back of the truck. So I'm going to get some measurements before I leave, and we're going to make something proper that bolts on there properly and doesn't have any flex, but that actually worked quite well. So we're into, I think we've done 7 or 8 logs. We're going to do our second blade, because if you've noticed, I have not been taking the time to debark it. I do have a log wizard. I have to mount it onto one of my Husqvarna mount bars so I can make that work, because I don't have a large steel mount. I don't have a steel anymore that takes a large mount steel bar. So anyway, we have a lot of cleanup to do. We've got to get this trailer loaded, get the lumber we have cut out of here. We're going to store it in the barn at home if I can find a hole for it, and I think we have a spot. And we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep trucking. We're going to pound this probably every weekend as long as we can to get as much material as we can. This is going to turn into another one of those marathon projects, but the way I'm doing it, it's going to take me a lot more time. But also the way I'm doing it, I'm not going to have a lot of money invested into it. And I get to come to what I consider paradise to get my materials, and that's gold. We're getting some really good time with my son. My girls come up once in a while if they feel like it, but if it's too hot, you won't see them here. But and he only comes because he doesn't have a choice, poor kid. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll catch you on the next one.